And we're going to keep this thing right rolling into one of the greats in music, Prince. I was scrolling YouTube and it said Prince work ethic. Prince's work ethic. I said, oh yeah, let me check this out. Because I feel like that's something that we all could use. Prince's work ethic. If you know who Prince is, Purple Rain, that's what I'm going to give you. Purple Rain, that's the big one. It's one of the greats. Right behind Michael Jackson, in my opinion. Some people say he's above. Either way, he's a great. And there is something that we all can learn from greatness in general. So, next we have Prince work ethic. And they have 6 easy lessons that we can learn from his process that helped him become great. So, let's get straight into this thing. And make sure that y'all take from Prince what you need to take from him. Because he had a lot to give. And so let's take it the right way. You feel me?
McGreary was right there in the room when Prince recorded the biggest song of 1984, the biggest song of his career, in only 2 days.
You know, like we cut When Doves Cry, just the two of us. It was nice to watch that process. He usually started with a drum track, and he did with that one, and then he started building raging guitar and the raging synths and everything. It seemed so overproduced to me. It was the last night we were mixing it. As the night went on, things started coming out. And he kind of unproduced it, if you can possibly do that. And then the last thing he did is he punched that bass out and he smiled at me and he said, ain't nobody gonna believe I do this. And he did.
He stuck with one idea while it was burning hot until it was finished. But how do you do that? How do you develop that kind of tenacity? Well, you'll need to internalize and live by this next lesson.
Lesson number 3, stop trying.
Y'all, they done messed it up. I tell you, we going from the beginning on this. Y'all see, he was the truth. He was the truth.
Prince was a creativity machine. He might be the most prolific musician that ever lived. And even though you may never reach even a fraction of his output in your own lifetime, here are 6 lessons that you can extract from his creative process that will give you an edge over everyone else.
Lesson number 1, work fast.
Back in those days, people didn't make albums on computers. You had to rent a studio for a few $100s a day if you wanted to record music. And the studio came with an engineer. In Prince's case, God help that poor engineer.
If you did anything that slowed Prince down, you were out of there.
That's why Prince preferred working with women in the studio. They worked with 0 friction. And 0 friction equals speed.
He'd come in and I'd hand him the bass and he'd play the bass. And he'd put that down and then he'd either go to the keys or he'd pick up the guitar.
Susan Rogers witnessed him making a song a day for 5 years. Songs like Kiss and Sign of the Times.
He'd play all the parts, sing his lead vocals, sing his backing vocals, add the final stuff. I'd be mixing it as the song was coming together. And usually a day later, it would be done.
We could do, and we did do, an album in a week.
And all he had when he came in was lyrics that he had jotted down in his hotel room.
He came in with stationery from Le Parc with the lyrics on it.
And he would emerge with a fully written, fully recorded, and fully mixed song by the end of it.
He'd jump on the keyboards, you know, guitar. It was just funky, you know. It's like, man, it's like, how do you come up with this?
Plays all the instruments on it.
He played everything and he mixed it too.
And he mixed it
in one day.
Jesus.
Everything was basically one take.
Prince was in constant flow.
He was like a funnel. It was as if somebody was pouring these songs into him and they would just continue to come out the other end.
He raised the bar for how fast you could create a hit song.
I've spoken with some of his engineers who worked with him later in his career as well, and we all say the same thing. You know, after Prince, you try to not feel disdain for a person who needs to take all day to do a guitar part. You're thinking, why do you have a record deal?
The other woman engineer that worked with Prince was Peggy McCreary. She did Controversy, 1999, and Purple Rain.
I mean, we did a song all in one day. Some of them were huge hits.
This brings us to
Lesson number 2.
Lesson number 1, work fast, y'all. Lesson number 1 is work fast. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. That was one of the... Learning to work fast was one of the best things I feel like ever happened to me. Especially when it comes to creating videos in general. Because it used to take way too long to create one video. And if you look back on my channel, y'all, at like the beginning of this thing, my videos were... I would say they were probably around 8 to 10 minutes long. And then they got even a little shorter than that. They got a little shorter than that. So me figuring out how to create videos faster is what I needed. It used to take me way too long to create 5 minutes of video, y'all. Way too long to create 5 minutes of video. Literally, from creating scripts, recording, editing, and then, you know, post-production, that's putting it all out. It was a 3-day journey. 3-day journey to put all that out. Now, I create a long-form video, 3 short-term videos, and if I wanted to, I could clip that down into 5 to 30-second, minute-long videos as well. But the thing was, when I figured out how to work fast, it switched this whole game up to me, in my opinion. And that's the one thing I was always looking for was, how do I make this faster? Like, it takes me 2 hours to record for 5 minutes. I have to learn how to get my thoughts out better, because from writing this down to recording, it takes way too long. A whole day plus, you know, throughout the day trying to write a script. Just getting 5 minutes for the script. I'm like, now I done wrote this whole thing, and I speak it faster than I thought, you know, when I was writing it. I speak it faster than that. So it literally, the process just took way too long. So finding a process where I could work fast was one of the best things I feel like ever happened to me when it comes to this content creation game. And that's something that we can definitely learn from Prince, who made a song a day. Made a song in a day, like pump it out. I feel like I'm in a Prince era. You feel me? With my thought, you know, I'm in a Prince era, which is being able to crank out content at the speed now that I am, because I found something that works for me. It works for me. So like I said, I'm able to create my content way faster. I create more content way faster than I was in the beginning. I'm telling y'all, go back on my page and look at those trash sounding videos that I have up there, you know, sounding crazy, not sounding like myself at all, because I'm learning to be in front of a camera and all that. That stuff takes time. But once you get to a point to where you can work fast, implement working faster 100%, because you'll feel like you're able to get more done in less time. And to me, overall, I enjoy this way more than the other style of content that I was doing, just because I feel like I'm able to give more now. I can give way more just because of the way that I create now. Lesson number 2, let's get with it.
Become a finisher.
Peggy McGreary was right there in the room when Prince recorded the biggest song of 1984, the biggest song of his career, in only 2 days.
You know, like we cut When Doves Cry, just the two of us. It was nice to watch that process. He usually started with a drum track, and he did with that one, and then he started building raging guitar and the raging synths and everything. It seemed so overproduced to me. It was the last night we were mixing it. As the night went on, things started coming out. And he kind of unproduced it, if you can possibly do that. And then the last thing he did is he punched that bass out, and he smiled at me and he said, "Ain't nobody gonna believe I do this." And he did.
He stuck with one idea while it was burning hot until it was finished. But how do you do that? How do you develop that kind of tenacity? Well, you'll need to internalize and live by this next lesson.
Lesson number 3. Stop trying
All right, y'all. Lesson number 2: become a finisher. Become a finisher, y'all. We have got to complete the things we started. Even in the beginning, I think that is the biggest thing for me. Like I said, finishing those videos, being able to crank them out, becoming a finisher becomes way easier when you do things at a faster pace. But doing it while it's hot in your mind and putting your all into it. Like they say, lesson number 3: abandon that perfection, bro. You have it's crazy. It's crazy to me when becoming a finisher. I actually created a video, become a finisher. Like, you have to get to that finish line. You have to keep with it. And the thing that I've noticed right now is I'm not at a finish line at all. So to me, becoming a finisher is just having consistency. You know, make sure that I'm creating this content and bringing it in every day. That's what it is. And I see it on the screen, so I just want to end literally abandoning perfection. Like, I tell everybody, just start and go until you finish. It's not going to be perfect. Nothing will ever be perfect. But you have to just start and keep going with that all the way through until you got it done, until you complete it. And at the end of the day, the day go in. So you just gotta let that book close and continue going.
To be a perfectionist.
Do you remember they used to spend a week on a fucking snare sound? It's like, give me a break. And I literally had 5 minutes to get a drum sound. He taught me another side. You know, that little picky, cocained out shit doesn't matter. If it's a good song, you get it down, it's a good song.
Don't overthink things. Keep it moving. In the overproduced 80s, this was unheard of.
In that era, everybody was kind of doing the sterile music where you do 20 takes of one thing, and he didn't work like that. A lot of times he would take the first take, even though there were maybe mistakes. You go, oh, I know I can do it better. Let me perfect it. He said, no, he wants the feeling. There was something about the first emotion that he wanted, and he'd mix into it, and you go, oh.
Prince knew that leaving the mistakes in was also leaving the emotions in.
He himself could not have functioned if he'd been obsessing over every little detail. His work was gesture sketches. His music would come out like a sneeze. It was just bam, 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 bam.
He understood that the most important aspect of the creative process is momentum, which brings us to
lesson number 4.
Y'all, this is the thing that I like so much about doing the content that I have now. I feel like it has way more emotion in it because of the way it's produced. When I was doing my other content, making it, myself, it was very produced. Like they said, it overproduced to me because it wasn't my emotion was out, because it wasn't my first thought. It wasn't the first thing that came out of my mind. It was, okay, yeah, let me get this. I don't like that. I don't like the way that was said. Let me change it. And so then it gets changed in the writing process. And then I'm recording. I say something one way. I didn't like the way that came out. So let's redo it. Another take, and another take, and another take. And by the end of that, all emotions out. It's just straight mute for that little 3 minutes. That little segment that I clipped. It's very mute, no emotion. I'm just trying to get it out at this point. I'm just trying to get that out. So it's like having this way of doing it where I can add my emotions into it and I can actually feel what I'm going through at that time as I'm watching the video. It's just so much better to me because of that. And I've literally abandoned that perfectionism that came from overproducing what I had going on. Being able to abandon perfectionism in my creative process, it literally, I feel like, freed me from a lot of constraints that I had within myself to produce. You know, I'm on it. All right, I gotta get this out. I wrote up this whole script. You know, I kind of like it, I kind of don't, because I've just been staring at it for a whole day, trying to get out this thought, trying to get out that thought. When with this, like I said, it's all natural, baby. It's all me. It's all me. So definitely abandon that perfectionism in whatever craft you have. And I'm telling you, I feel like you will just enjoy it. Enjoy it. And all of these so far have just like flown into the next thing so effortlessly. It's really been effortless. Let's get on with lesson 4 though.
Make art every day.
I've never known anyone who had a stronger work ethic. If he wasn't on a date and he wasn't on a business call, he was making music. And we made music every day. I was his full-time employee, so if we were not on tour, we did rehearsals during the day, and then we recorded at night. If we were on tour, this guy would play a 4-hour sound check often. Not a 15-minute sound check like most rock stars do. He'd get on stage for 4 hours just because, you know, it's a stage and there's instruments and there's a PA, so why not just get up there and play? Play for hours, take the mandatory dinner break while they have doors, the audience comes in, and this is like in a 14,000 seat arena, play a 2.5-hour show, and then he'd get off the stage close to midnight, and now it's time for the night to begin. We would go to a recording studio and we would record all night until the last possible minute when we had to get on a plane or on a bus. You sleep on the plane, you sleep on the bus, you get to the next city, you get on stage and you start sound check all over again. That's what we did. That was normal life. If you're awake, you're making music.
That's how you have to start thinking about life if you want to be a creativity machine.
If he was awake, Prince was recording. I've never known anyone else who works like that.
You're right. I don't think there's anyone as prolific as Prince in terms of just music creation.
Yeah, he had an output like some Mozart type shit, you know?
You start to understand that using your gift as often as possible is your responsibility, especially if you have something valuable to say.
That's when you possessed, you know what I'm saying? You possessed with a mission from the universe, you know?
But how do you do that without burning out?
Lesson number 5.
All right, y'all. Like lesson number 4, make art every day. One thing I did to actually get used to this, y'all, I used to stream on Twitch every day to 0 people. 0 people. I'm streaming, and I did that probably for a good 3 to 4 months. I was on Twitch just streaming to 0 people, you know, getting used to the camera, getting used to that, getting used to this, doing this, doing that, doing different things to get used to that. And I would say that is the most growth I've seen that I had in this content creation space. And I'm at the point now where I do put work into the content creation thing pretty much every day. Mondays is recording. I do a little editing at the end of the day. Tuesday, straight editing. Wednesday, I'm preparing for my other show on Hartfelt Conversations. Then Thursday, I'm on live again. I'm recording on that. Friday, cut it up. Saturday, editing again. Sunday, it's all over. So I do something for my content creation pretty much every day because I'm a one-man army at this point. So I'm perfecting my craft at all across the board. Editing, being on this streaming, you know, and those are the 2 basic things that I do, edit and stream every day pretty much. It's an everyday thing. So that work ethic to me, it does breathe being more successful at your craft, making that art every day, doing what you do every day. And like I said, when I was streaming every day on Twitch, most growth I've seen in myself when it comes to doing something, just because I was streaming every day, literally 0 people on there. 0 people on there. And then I went from there and cut that into TikTok videos. Every day, getting better at editing and that craft. That is something that we can definitely take from Prince and run for days and miles with. That is like no other. It's like no other.
Sleep.
You sleep on the plane.
That's right, sleep.
You sleep on the bus.
Yup, sleep. Prince valued sleep so much that he even had a bed put into the studio.
Did you ever see the bed in here?
Oh, yes. Now, I wasn't working during that time.
But you did see it.
It was elaborate. It was like really fancy coverings. It might have been brass. I can't remember.
It was a bed with purple sheets.
Craig had to go out every Friday and get new sheets, purple sheets. It was once a week. That was his duty as a studio manager, to go get Prince the purple sheets.
Purple sheets in 1984.
But the most important lesson you can learn from Prince, something that is particular to only him in the history of rock and roll.
Lesson number.
Sleep, y'all? Are y'all playing with me? Y'all playing with me? They make fun of me right now, y'all. Y'all want to know why? For that right there. They think I'm playing. I eat, breathe, and sleep this content creation. I don't leave this room. Right there. I sleep right there. They playing. Y'all think I'm playing? I sleep right there. The bed is in the content. I don't leave here throughout the day. I do my work. I take a nap. I'm right there. I go to the gym. I come back home. Get a little rest. I'm right there. I only hit my real room when it's time for me to go to sleep at night. Other than that, I'm not touching that bed. This is where I sleep. Right here in my content room where y'all was over there joking around talking about some, oh, this the bando bed. We ain't playing no games around here with y'all. Lesson number 5 is sleep. I get that sleep whenever possible. I'm about to get off this before work. Guess what I'm going to hit? That bed right there and go to sleep. Take me a nap. Y'all think we joking over here, bruh. See? Y'all think we joking. We putting in that Prince work ethic all year round. I told y'all, 2024, hard work. I'm more busy than I ever been in my job. I'm more busy than I ever been in my content creation space. Because 2024 is hard work. Y'all joke about my bed anymore? I'm telling you. I'm going to say, you don't watch my videos, you joking about my bed for real? You ain't see my Prince video where he used to sleep in his studio. I sleep in my studio. Y'all see it right there. This ain't no joke. This ain't no joke. I know y'all thought it was a joke. It was. It's funny. Had my bando bed right there. It's funny. Until you know that we putting in that Prince work ethic. Until you learn that we putting in that Prince work ethic. I ain't joking with y'all. That bed right there is where I get all my sleep at. Come on. Come on. Lesson 6.
6. Develop vault mentality.
Prince didn't look at his day like he was recording a song, or even like he was recording an album. Prince looked at his day like he was crafting his legacy. And that's why as soon as he built his own recording studio, he also built the vault.
I started the vault. One of the things I realized would be smart for me to do would be to get all his tapes together in one place. My goal was, I want us to have everything he's ever recorded right here. If we're going to have a vault, let's have a vault. Because if we get a tornado, if we get a flood, this is his legacy. We need to protect these things.
What does the vault look like?
It's just this room in the building that just has like veils and whatnot. And then there's the door with the combination lock.
But this wasn't a vault of sketches of ideas or just loops. This was a vault of fully mixed songs and full albums that have yet to see the light of day.
When you say the word vault, it's really a vault of treasure. I mean, it's like the Beatles stuff. This stuff is incredible on every level with all different type of artists.
You see the amount of recordings he has in his vault, it doesn't even make sense. You would think somebody's lived like 300 years and was recording 5 songs a day.
Frequently, he would have very, very excellent songs that for whatever reason didn't fit the concept he had in mind for a given album. So that song would fall to the wayside.
The amount of time that I spent in the studio with him probably only about 5 or 10% of it was ever released.
And how many songs are in that vault?
Ooh, when I was there, I say about 2,000 songs. He probably has more now.
Vault mentality is something I talk about in the mystery school all the time. It's the kind of mindset that keeps you thinking about the big picture. You know, the work of art called your career. Even if at first it's just a hard drive with your beats on it, or a storage space for your paintings, having vault mentality puts you in a frame of mind of being output driven.
Do you think we're ever going to get to hear everything that's in the vault?
No.
Why? Because he won't put it out?
No, because I think if you could, you would probably be you'd probably be sitting there for 10 years.
Even if you don't catch up to Prince, by adopting these 6 lessons, you can still be way more prolific than you've ever been. And you can start reaching momentum and flow with increased frequency. And that's what matters, isn't it?
For more tips on how to become a creativity machine.
Lesson number 6 was vault mentality, which is basically just being output driven, always producing an outcome. And everything doesn't have to be shared. Everything doesn't have to be shared. That's the only thing on here that I feel like I don't have until now. Vault mentality. I might see some things that's going on throughout the week that can't fit on this and record the same style video just like this for them. And if I put it out, I put it out. If I don't, I don't. I think that'll definitely help me in my craft even more. I don't have to release it if I don't want to, but being in my craft, it helps. It definitely helps. I see where they're coming from with this. I see exactly where they're coming from with that. 6 lessons that we can learn from Prince, y'all. Lesson number 1 was work fast. Work fast. Lesson number 2, what? Become a finisher. Lesson number 2 was become a finisher. Let's see what lesson number 3 was. Hold on, y'all. Lesson number 2, become a finisher. Lesson number 3, abandon perfectionism. Lesson number 4, make art every day. Lesson number 5, sleep. And number 6, vault mentality. Become output driven, basically, was with that. From those 6 things, I think we can all learn a lot. I'm telling y'all, making work fast changed my life. Changed my life. Becoming a finisher, you got to finish what you started. And with finishing what you started, the easiest way to finish what you started is literally to make that work fast and abandon that it's going to be perfect. Nothing will ever be perfect, but when you abandon perfectionism, you can actually, in work fast, you can replace perfectionism with emotion. That raw emotion gives what you have a lot of power. Those first 3 to me they work together so hand in hand. But then you have make art every day. When you make it every day, y'all, it becomes second nature to you. It becomes a part of you. Get your sleep in, y'all. Get your sleep in. Make sleep a part of your day, definitely. It will help push you throughout the day. Having a scheduled nap for me helps literally every day. And number 6, become output driven by having vault mentality. That's Prince work ethic right there, y'all. We all can take from it and grow, y'all. With that though, we are gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment on your way out the door. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Thank y'all for tapping in. I appreciate y'all for spending this time with me. Peace, love, and riches. I'm out.